You talking ship? You talking ship? You talking ship? Wait a minute, you talking ship?
What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Talkin Shipp, where big ships popping, little ships stopping. We're talking today with one of my brothers, another one of my brothers that I brought onto the show, actor, producer, writer, acting coach, travel club owner, entrepreneur, Ser'Darius Blain. Welcome to the show, my brother.
My brother, thank you for having me. I am so grateful that I get to use your name as a cuss word.
Man, look, we're here to talk some shit, baby. That's what it's about. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And for the people at home who don't know you, who you are, that live under a rock or something, you're most known for acting right now. Yeah. But if you could just share with some people, like, where they would find you, how did you get into it, and who the hell are you?
The age-old awkward question to all actors.
What do you do?
What have I seen you in? Yeah. I've been really blessed to work in this business for over a decade now. I've been in movies like Footloose, Star Trek Into Darkness, TV shows like Charmed and The Big Leap on Fox, and probably most famously for my role in Jumanji as Fridge. So, yeah, it's been a good time.
That was hilarious. Like when you turned into Kevin Hart, I couldn't stop laughing.
I know, me too. I mean, as soon as I read the script, I think we were like 3 pages in, and I was cracking up. And I actually called my agent because I was like, I think they made a mistake here. They have me turning into the Kevin Hart character. I think I'm supposed to turn into the Rock.
The Rock, right?
Being that he is 6'5" and I am 6'5". But yeah. The irony was hilarious.
Yeah,
so I'll take it. And then in part 2, with me turning into Jack Black, I thought they were wise for that.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Made me chuckle.
And so just to give this little background, how did you get into acting? Like, what got you started on this journey and got you out here? And
dude, I'm still trying to figure that out now. The acting thing kind of came out of nowhere. I was always going to be a cardiologist. I was always going to be a doctor. I was in my second year at Eastern Florida University now, studying biology. I wanted to be a cardiologist always.
Snap.
I had great grades growing up always. I was extremely shy, extremely quiet, so there was no room for acting in there. But my mom was a drama teacher at my middle school when I was like 12 years old, and she was holding auditions for this play that I had actually helped her write. I was a writer. I did like state writing competitions and all this stuff.
Okay.
And so I helped her write this play. And then she was like, do you want to audition for it? And I was like, what? No. Because I had memorized the entire play. And I was like doing the dishes or something one day. And she was like, you memorized all of it? And I was like, yeah. She was like, ow. And so she made me audition for it, basically. And I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Really?
But I had booked basically like the understudy part for this play. And sure enough, after the first show, the lead kid gets sick.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to do the entire run of the show, 7 out of the 8 shows. And I fell in love with it. Like
the bug
overnight.
Was it.
I got bit by the bug. I was 12. But I wouldn't do another play until I was like 17 years old, probably from that point. And then I did some community theater and stuff in Melbourne, Florida. Don't even ask me where that is. It's just, way the hell out. But yeah, I loved it. I just never thought that there would be a future in it. But my girlfriend at the time was big into acting and dancing and was not shy at all, and had me drive her to Orlando to Disney for this acting modeling talent competition audition. And I went with her. And anyway, basically they pulled me on stage and made me audition too. I got it. And we ended up doing this talent competition like 6 months later, and I won like every category I was in and got an acting scholarship to the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts, which I love very much. Thank you guys so much for my entire future. I appreciate it.
That is crazy.
And so yeah, here I am. I'm an actor now.
Dude,
Weird.
that's so wild and incredible, especially as we continue with this interview. You're going to see how much this guy is super into this entertainment world and the acting and the creative side of it. That's kind of awesome how you just kind of like it found you a little bit.
It did. It kept kind of chasing me in a weird way. There's way more to it than that. I kept just falling into it. And so, I mean, I'm grateful for it.
And now flash forward and looking back, what would be a memorable experience? Like what's been your favorite project that you've worked on as an actor?
That's always a really tough question because, I like to say, like, doing movies is like being away at summer camp. You get to be with this one specific set of people for one specific time, and then when it's done, you never see all of these people in one place at one time ever again. So each one has a special little sort of epitaph, a special memory attached to it. So I have several favorites, but the first one was Footloose. It was the first movie I ever booked. And I remember getting the call from the director, Craig Brewer, who also did Hustle and Flow and Black Snake Moan and all that stuff and was riding it super high at the time. And I remember him, basically telling me that I had gotten the part and welcoming me to the cast. And I was so excited and relieved at the time because of what I was going through that I almost like fainted. I had to pull over on the 405 in a borrowed car because mine had been repossessed and stuff at the time. And I was like, dizzy. I couldn't even like hear or like I had to like get my bearings for the first time ever. But movies like Jumanji, where you have great casts that really care about each other and care about the project and are super collaborative, director and writers and producers and stuff like that really just let you feel like this movie is yours too. Even though, again, I watched Jumanji and I'm like, I would watch that movie whether I was in it or not. I mean, I'm in it for really 20, 30 minutes of the movie. It's not my movie. It's their movie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but they never make you feel that way. And they really respect your input and stuff like that. So, like, it's my favorite for that. But then I'm connected to The Last Full Measure, which is a story about a man, a soldier who goes back into battle to save 66 people on the bloodiest day of the Vietnam War, where I got to play young Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. It was a cathartic experience for me being in Thailand at all, post my brother being shot and killed and post me losing a baby with, my girlfriend at the time, and post me finding out that, my best friend had embezzled a bunch of money and then married my ex-girlfriend, like stuff like that. So it was a really cool ass experience, and it was a healing experience through my work as well. While we're telling this historic story. So there's a bunch of different reasons why different projects are my favorites, but those would probably be the three.
That's beautiful. And the reason I asked that really, and because of what's going on right now with the unions and everything, we're gonna move past the acting part. But one of the things that I think is really so amazing is that not just an actor, and you're not just like, oh yeah, like I stay just in this top line. You've also, and I've been a recipient of this. You're also an acting coach, and I've been to your classes, really in depth, really like personal. What got you started with that, and how did that passion for sharing your experience, your knowledge, and your passion, like how did that get started?
Well, first of all, actors have to have 55 jobs because they're not paying us residuals. Hashtag SAG strong.
That part.
Hashtag WGA strong. Shout out to everybody that is on the picket lines. I am out there as well. It's very, very important, what we're fighting for right now in order to be able to sustain people being able to do their jobs and do what they love. That's already hard. But I got into coaching actors. Honestly, I've always been one of those guys, whether it be sports or in entertainment and stuff like that, that had to do the little stuff, the dirty work, in order to make my spot. I was talented enough at acting to where like I ended up being in the highest class possible at my school and stuff like that, but I didn't know anything about it. There were people that were far more naturally talented than I was. It was you step onto a basketball court, me and you met through playing basketball.
Hooping,
there's just guys that just stand out.
They
just got it.
Right.
And then there's the guys who got to work and set the screens and
box
dive for
out.
loose balls and get rebounds and, play defense really well and blah, 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 And then there's the guys who are just effortless. I was never the effortless guy at anything except academia, I could walk into a math test and find out that we have it in 30 minutes and I would ace it, just cramming and stuff like that. But everything else in life I always had to work for. And so I learned the technical sides of acting as I was learning sort of the talent side and sort of pilfering information off of other talented people I saw around me and stuff like that and watching their processes. I'm a process guy. I had to learn the processes in order to, AKA, fake it till you make it, sort of. And so I help teach people processes. I know the technical sides of the work melded with your talent that can help you be noticed by the people you want to be noticed by. And so I had two roommates that when I first moved to LA, I lived with, who were just really hardworking guys, and you know, they were trying to find their way and stuff, and they had, you know, decided to leave corporate America and stuff like that to pursue acting. And we started working on our auditions together. And I started learning how to, my mom was an educator for like 25 years, right? So I started learning how to speak people's language. There's different types of learners, where it be kinetic or audio or visual and stuff like that.
Being able to translate the information and knowledge you have to the people and how they receive it.
Absolutely. And so I found more digestible, practical ways to teach people how to act technically and meld that with their natural instincts as well. And so it's personalized coaching, usually in a group setting. I coach people one-on-one as well. I'm actually headed to do that as soon as I leave here too. I coach people one-on-one. I've had people from, you know, series regulars on Vampire Diaries, to people in Oscar award-winning movies, to people who are saying, this is the first time I've ever acted. You know, where do I start?
Right.
And I've helped at least 16 people probably become series regulars, and, you know, find ways to live the life that they wanted to live. It's usually just one small tweak away. And I tell professional actors all the time that I work with that have extensive resumes and stuff, I'm like, hey, look, I'm not teaching you how to act. I'm just here to be a watchful eye. It's the equivalent of Kevin Durant and LeBron James working out in the summertime. You're not teaching either of them basketball, but they need another pro to be toe-to-toe with, so that it can feel more like, you know, game ready.
Because you have the real game experience, and you understand it's not just like having a trainer who says, oh yeah, you just go to the block, turn around and shoot. It's like, nah, when he goes this way, then you got to know what this is. And you definitely
how to pronate your wrist, and, you know,
and so right and that's real funny, actually, because now, and this is the question that really jumped in my head when I was sitting there. You're teaching me some acting, and I'm taking notes vigorously. I'm like, man, this dude is an active, auditioning, hardworking actor, teaching other people to do. Like, does that ever get a little conflicting, where you're like, yeah, I'm about to train this 6'5" brother over here to be a great actor in this role that I'm also going to go audition for?
Absolutely. That's happened so many times. It's happened times where I've had to coach somebody for a role that I didn't get.
Oh.
It's happened where I've coached somebody and then I ended up getting the role later, right? The beautiful thing about this is that I don't think in terms of I'm training the competition, because I don't see this as a competitive sport per se. I might approach it that way in my preparation, but I don't look at another man as my competition, because at the end of the day, I think when we elevate the craft as a whole, if I help make you better, exponentially better than you were before, then it makes me have to step up and be exponentially better every time I go in as well. And it raises sort of awareness to the idea of our value. It's something that we're going through right now with the SAG strike and everything, right? And the Writers Guild strike as well. I think and I'm not into changing people's minds, but I think if they found us all to be more valuable, this would kind of be a no-brainer. And so it's a show of strength for us to all stand together and demand what we want. But if you're better, you set the bar for me and I set the bar for you. And on top of that, this gives you more of an opportunity to work. So when you're working and we're the same type, you know, for certain projects, then I know that you're X'd out. You can't work right now, so it gives me a better chance of working.
Taking pieces off the board, right? Yeah, no, that's a great point too.